What's up guys, it's Dan is Gone, and today we'll be looking at my top 25 players that are under the age of 25, close to midway through the 2024 season. In my opinion, one of the most exciting aspects about a young season are the potential new stars that join the major league clubs. Last year, both Gunnar Henderson, Corbin Carroll, and a bunch of other young stars joined the league to become faces of a future MLB, all of them being below 25 years old. I'll be trying to rank these young stars based on the level of future production for the player, because for young players, potential production is more valuable than current production, given the long career that they still have ahead of them. So even if a player might have a worse major or minor league statistics, they could be better suited for making a stronger contribution in the future, which matters more in the long run. As a result, I'll be taking into account the players' metrics along with their stats in these rankings. This video will cover both minor league talents and guys who've already made their major league debuts, although I will be weighing their past productions differently as they're playing in different environments. The date I'm counting for this video is June 15th as the cutoff, so unfortunately for Royce Lewis, who turned 25 on June 5th, he will not be making this list. But before we get onto the video, could you guys please hit the like and subscribe button? Currently, only 3% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if y'all do, not only would it help me grow my channel, but it would also encourage me to create more videos like this one for you guys. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Before we get into the top 25, I have a few honorable mentions though. There's Bryan Woo, the latest line of excellent starting pitchers developed by the Seattle Mariners, Matt McLain, one of the breakout stars for the Cincinnati Reds last year, who's not played a game this season because of injury, Jackson Chourio, who the Brewers gave a historic contract to become one of the faces of their franchise, Andy Pages, the breakout young center fielder for the Dodgers, Jackson Merrill, the exciting young shortstop turned center fielder for the Padres, Elliot Ramos, who is having a breakout year for the Giants, looking like a budding star, Junior Caminero, one of the top prospects in the game for the Rays, who has had elite level production throughout his minor league career, Wyatt Langford, a top draft pick for the Rangers in 2023, who raked and made his major league debut for the team, and Kyle Harrison, a longtime top left-handed pitching prospect for the game for the Giants, who is now just getting his feet wet with the team. So now that we've covered those who just missed the cut, time to dive into the top 25. Call it a small sample size, but Mark Vientos has posted a 181 OPS plus in his time since being called up by the Mets, and is looking like the best player on their team, beating out longtime top prospect Brett Beatty for the starting third base job. As a prospect, Vientos was always known as having elite raw power, and has shown that by slugging .587 in his short time with the Mets, also posting a batting average of .320 and getting on base 38% of the time. However, what separates Vientos from other young players having good starts to their season is the propensity for more production from Vientos. One knock on Vientos throughout his career has been his habit of hitting too many ground balls, nullifying his elite exit velocities. However, he's been working on getting rid of them for a couple of years now. If the ground ball issue can be fixed, Vientos' exit velocities make him one of the best hitters in the game. I know it's a big if, but we saw from 2021 Vladimir Guerrero Jr. what a prime Mark Vientos season can look like, and also what the floor is if he doesn't lower his ground ball rate. Evan Carter has been one of the biggest disappointments this season. In 23 games last year, Carter posted a 1.053 OPS along with a terrific postseason to win a World Series ring for the Rangers, become the favorite to win AL Rookie of the Year in 2024, and become a top 5 prospect in all of baseball. Since then, Carter has posted an OPS plus of only 80 in 45 games, going on the shelf with a stress fracture in his back sometime in late May. His metrics are down across the board, although that may have been because he was playing with injuries. He still has that uncanny elite level plate discipline that scouts raved about throughout his minor league career and throughout the playoffs. But when he does make contact, it's not that hard, and is more often than not a weak fly out or pop out. As for the positives, I think a lot of his struggles do come from his back injury, and if he's able to make a full recovery, then we could see a lot more of his 2023 form than his 2024 form. And in that form, he's a bona fide superstar, with his elite on-base abilities coupled with great power. Surprisingly, Nolan Gorman still makes this list, when it seems like he's been in the league for some time now. With about 2.5 seasons under his belt and over 1,000 professional plate appearances, Nolan Gorman has shown us what can be expected from him. He's a power-hitting second baseman who hits line drives all over the place with some good exit velocities. 2023 saw him hit 27 home runs with a 116 OPS plus in 119 games. So there's potential for Gorman to easily post a 35 to 40 homer season from the second base position if he plays the full season. All things considered, Gorman is having the best season of his career so far, with a 123 OPS plus and 15 home runs in only 59 games. And while Gorman is not a difference maker on the base paths and is definitely below average as a second baseman, the slug that Gorman provides makes him a valuable asset and a top 25 player under the age of 25. Due to his suspension, I think many baseball fans forgot how good Noelvi Marte was in 2023, and how bright his future is when he does return. Marte was a longtime top prospect before his call-up and was one of the main pieces in the Luis Castillo trade from the Mariners. He got a taste of the major leagues in 2023, where he played 35 games with the club, and actually played very well, hitting .316, .366, .465 for a .121 OPS plus in September. He also held his own at both shortstop and third base in a stint, providing his positional flexibility as an asset to his game. Marte hits the ball very hard, and although he can get a little bit pool happy at times, it doesn't matter when you're hitting it over everyone. Hitting-wise, Marte is fairly balanced. He will likely hit around 20 to 25 home runs over the course of a full season in the prime of his career, while his propensity to hit the ball hard and not chase pitches out of the zone will also lend well towards his average stats. Just like Noelvi Marte, I think a lot of fans will quickly forget how good Eury Perez was because he will miss a lot of time recovering from Tommy John. Also like Marte, Perez was a longtime top prospect who performed well in the majors. In 19 starts last year, he posted a 3.15 ERA and 108 strikeouts in only 91 1/3 innings. Considering that pitchers usually have a longer development curve than hitters, for a 20-year-old Eury Perez to dominate like the way he did, finishing 7th in Rookie of the Year voting last year, is really impressive and encouraging towards his long-term output. Stuff-wise, Perez is much likely higher than 22 on this list. He's got a fastball that sits in the high 90s and an elite changeup that can be used against both righties and lefties, and a slider and curveball to generate outs and soft contact galore. However, Tommy John surgery is always a huge setback to a pitcher's career, and it will be seen if his elite level stuff remains following his rehab. Nonetheless, he's still one of the best young pitchers in the league, another great starting pitcher coming out of the Marlins pitching lab. To be frank, Gabriel Moreno has struggled this year, like many of the other Diamondbacks' young promising bats. However, looking under the hood, there's still some room for optimism regarding Moreno. Despite seeing his batting average drop from .284 in 2023 to .240 in 2024, Moreno has actually decreased his strikeout rate and increased his walk rate. These are signs of maturity for Moreno and are actually very encouraging towards his long-term future as a complete hitter. If Moreno can return to hitting the ball with the same authority as his 2023 form, while keeping his strikeout and walk rates from his 2024 form, he becomes one of the better offensive catchers in the game. Of course, he is already elite defensively, winning the Gold Glove last year. Moreno is excellent at throwing out base runners and calming a pitching staff, which in that alone is very valuable, especially for a catcher as young as Moreno. It's been widely known that Hunter Greene could be an ace for a big league club really since he was drafted 2nd overall by the Reds back in 2017. Well, this season he's really begun to put it all together and pitch like one. While not eye-popping, Greene has stayed healthy and improved upon his previous seasons, posting a 3.61 ERA and 84 strikeouts in 77 1/3 innings. Greene has had ace-level stuff really since he's been drafted, and if he's able to get everything to click, he could be a top 5 starter in the game. With a fastball that consistently touches 100, he limits opponents to an expected 193 batting average against it, one of the best fastballs in the game. The Achilles heel has been his off-speed stuff, or rather, the lack of off-speed stuff throughout his entire career. This year, he's introduced a new splitter instead of his changeup and added a curveball as well. Given that these pitches are so new, they need more time to develop, but they are already seeing the results just after a short period of time. There is room for optimism about Greene not only as just a pitcher with a great fastball, but with an exceptional arsenal led by an outstanding fastball. If Greene can expand his arsenal, he can be a really good starting pitcher. Masyn Winn has had a breakout season with the club, and has frankly looked like an all-star and 5-tool player for the Cardinals. Winn made headlines as a prospect due to his rocket arm from the shortstop position, labeling him as a toolsy infielder with developing hitting abilities. However, his call-up in 2023 was very underwhelming, with a 172 batting average and 467 OPS in 37 games. His issue was that he really wasn't driving the ball with any authority, as the vast majority of his hits were weakly hit the other way. However, during his disappointing season, there were still some encouraging signs, foreshadowing his breakout in 2024. For starters, he has had a very developed eye for someone so young, taking his walks when needed and putting the ball in play more often than not. He just needed to work on getting in front of the ball. Well, 2024 has saw him do just that. He's hitting .305, .353, .431 for a 125 OPS plus this season. The main change has been that he's pulling the ball more, and those balls that are hit the other way have turned from a liability to a tool that can keep the defense honest and on their toes. Still with good speed, play discipline, and a cannon for an arm, if Winn can keep this approach going over the course of a full season, the raw tools he has alone can develop him into a superstar in today's league. Our first prospect on this list is James Wood, who may be the best prospect in all of baseball with the tools to be a future superstar in the league. This year in AAA, Wood is batting an absolutely mind-boggling 355, 465, 596 for a 1.061 OPS in 45 games, supporting his monster spring training that he had this year. Although he did have to miss some time with hamstring tightness, at 6'7" and 234 pounds, Wood follows in line with some of the freakish prospects we've seen come up over the past couple of years like Oneil Cruz and Elly De La Cruz. Yet, Wood has posted a better minor league season in AAA than the two have ever done, with a strikeout rate of only 18% and nearly as many walks as strikeouts. Already known as someone with some elite power skills, the advent of a more complete hitter makes James Wood a much more well-rounded player, and he could be one of the best all-round hitters in the game like Yordan Alvarez. But James Wood also has the athleticism to be an everyday left fielder, adding further value to his game. Grayson Rodriguez was one of, if not the best pitching prospect in the game for a long time, and in following an underwhelming rookie season in 2023, I feel confident enough in his start in 2024 to place him where he is. This season, in 11 starts, Rodriguez has posted a 3.27 ERA and 71 strikeouts in 63 1/3 innings. His bread and butter is his fastball, which lives at the top of the zone with some fairly good vertical movement, tunneling extremely well with his changeup, which has generated a ton of strikeouts this year. Rodriguez certainly has the stuff to be a top-of-the-line starting pitcher, but one thing holding him back in my opinion is the implementation of his off-speed stuff. Both the fastball and changeup are excellent, but his propensity to hang his slider and to a lesser extent his curveball have been his Achilles heel in what has otherwise been a strong season. Nonetheless, Rodriguez has the profile of the top-of-the-line ace and is only just beginning to show it at 24 years old. If the command improves on the slider and curveball, he really has no holes in his game. Logan O'Hoppe has been one of the few bright spots on an otherwise disappointing Angels season, and has looked like a franchise cornerstone to build around as they begin a long rebuild. O'Hoppe impressed during the 2023 season with his power, hitting 14 home runs in only 51 games to the tune of a 111 OPS+. He was barreling up the baseball and hitting the ball with authority, especially to his pull side. Well, 2024 has seen a continuance of O'Hoppe's hitting abilities. Although the power is down, O'Hoppe has become a much more balanced hitter, using the whole field more and seeing his OPS+ as a whole rise to 116. O'Hoppe has looked like one of the best hitting catchers in the league, and the metrics support the notion that O'Hoppe's power outlet is sustainable over the long run. Expect 20 to 25 home runs from the catching position for O'Hoppe as he gets more consistent playing time. The only thing that is stopping him from truly jumping up these rankings is his fielding. He's not great at framing and is one of the worst catchers in the game at throwing out runners. Yet as a prospect, he was actually considered a pretty good defensive catcher, so these poor defensive metrics could still be a result of him getting acclimated to major league timing. CJ Abrams was on many people's radars as a potential breakout candidate in the 2024 season for the Nationals. Once a top 10 prospect in all of baseball for the Padres, Abrams was one of the main pieces sent in the Juan Soto trade and was underwhelming in his first 2 seasons with Washington. This year, while you wish that Abrams could get on base more with an on-base percentage below 300, Abrams has found a power outlet that was not expected given his minor and major league statistics. Abrams is currently slugging .472, the highest mark in his career by far, along with 11 home runs and 5 triples, best in the league. Abrams is hitting the ball harder than ever and has really embraced the power from his pull side. As a prospect, Abrams was much more heralded for his bat-to-ball skills over his power, but that has seemed to flip this season. Nonetheless, Abrams is one of the talents with elite combinations now of both light tower power and speed, although his fielding at shortstop may need some work, and a potential move to second base or corner outfield spot may be in order. Brice Turang is one of the breakout players this season, and a huge reason why the Brewers are seeing the success that they are currently seeing. Turang has hit .294, .358, .403 for a 116 OPS+, and 24 stolen bases to only 1 caught stealing, also playing very good defense at the second base position. And although he's not really hitting the ball hard and the metrics say that he is due for some regression, Turang is the type of guy to overperform his hitting metrics, as a left-handed batter with his propensity to put the ball in play with elite-level speed. Ceiling-wise, while he may not have the highest ceiling due to his lack of elite-level power, Turang's on-base abilities, defense, and base-running skills contribute to a winning brand of baseball, and a very valuable asset for the Brewers for a long time as their leadoff hitter. Michael Harris II has had a disappointing season so far, with only slugging .358 for an 85 OPS+, one of the many Braves having a down year. However, this doesn't change the fact that when he's on his game, Harris is one of the best players in the entire league. He won Rookie of the Year in 2022, finishing with an OPS of .853 and 1 homer shy of a 2020 season. and in 2023, although he did take a step back, he was still very productive, with an 808 OPS and 18 home runs and 20 stolen bases. Harris is one of the best defensive center fielders in the game, and this provides a very nice floor that his other attributes build off of to make him a very valuable player, even when he's not hitting like his usual self. However, when he is hitting, he's an extremely valuable asset and a true 5-tool player, although he does have a tendency to go on hot and cold streaks, as seen by his time in 2023 and so far in 2024, but a lot of young players do that, and among them Harris is one of the best. Triston Casas having to miss extended time really hurt, given that it looked like he was going to build on his 2023 season and have a monster season in 2024. 2023 wasn't terrible. Casas had an 856 OPS and 24 home runs, but 2024 looked like the season he was going to truly put himself on the map as one of the better first basemen in the league. Casas was shown throughout his minor league career for his elite power coupled with an uncanny eye at the plate, and he showed that throughout his rookie season, walking 70 times. Casas takes his walks when he has to, and when he does find a pitch that he can mash, he does it with authority, a very good combo to have. As a power-hitting first baseman with great on-base abilities, Casas' OPS will likely remain above 800 throughout his entire career, in which he should see a couple of All-Star appearances down the road, barring a career-threatening injury. Elly De La Cruz is an enigma. From the highlights, you would think that he's one of the best players in the entire league, leading the league in stolen bases, while also having hit 11 home runs of his own, with one of the best arms from the shortstop position. Yet at the same time, he only has a 108 OPS plus and leads the league in strikeouts and caught stealings. Through 166 games, I think we've seen enough of De La Cruz to realize that this is just who he is. De La Cruz will be an incredibly exciting ball player. He'll show flashes here and there, but he'll also go on long cold streaks where it seems like it'll be a miracle for him to even get a hit. De La Cruz needs serious refinement on his bat-to-ball skills, and although the strikeouts are down from last year, they're still not in a good spot. However, the thing propelling him up these rankings is the potential he oozes if he has a season where everything breaks right. Say he cuts down on the strikeouts, becoming merely league average instead of leading the league. At that point, carried by his elite speed, power, and defense, De La Cruz has the potential to win MVP and have an 8 or 9 WAR season to boot, a true complete player if his holes are fixed. Jackson Holliday is the highest prospect on this list, and for good reason. I know that he struggled mightily in his short stint with the big league club, but in such a short sample size, one must look at the big picture rather than focus on every minute detail. Holliday is only 20 years old and has raked in AAA, hitting .270, .433, .466 for an .899 OPS. Holliday has the potential to really be an elite-level ball player, and every year he's walked almost as much as he struck out, and in 125 games in 2023, he walked 101 times. Holliday has an elite eye for someone so young and is only continuing to add strength to his frame, amplifying his power. Holliday also has the big league instincts and range to play a very solid shortstop and can move around the infield if need be. Holliday has all the tools to be a 5-tool player, and a short 10-game stint in the majors should not have everyone write him off just yet. Anthony Volpe has seen one of the biggest improvements from the 2023 season to the 2024 season, looking like a potential all-star. Volpe has seen his batting average rise nearly 70 points, with a smaller rise in both his slugging and on-base abilities. Volpe was, and likely will always be, a great defender at shortstop, already providing an excellent floor with good hitting being icing on the cake. He is also one of the best base runners in the game, with top-of-the-line speed and 13 stolen bases on the young season. This season, Volpe has cut down on his strikeouts to a manageable rate, and while he may be getting lucky with the quality of his contact, faster players usually tend to overperform their expected stats due to the stress it puts on defenses. Advanced metrics aside, Volpe's defense and base running abilities already make him an incredibly valuable player, and the advent of a more advanced hitting approach is merely icing on the cake. Ezequiel Tovar and Anthony Volpe are very similar young stars. They are both elite fielding shortstops who have had breakout campaigns for their respective clubs. And while Volpe's rise has gotten a lot of attention, Tovar's ascension may be more impressive. In his case, he saw his batting average rise 40 points, his on-base percentage rise 35 points, but there's a huge 90-point increase in his slugging percentage, in large part due to the 11 home runs he's hit in only 67 games. A lot that was said about Volpe could be said about Tovar here. Like Volpe, Tovar is overperforming considering the quality of his contact, and while he may not be as elite of a base runner as Volpe, Tovar is still very good, justifying his overperformance. However, Tovar is hitting the ball slightly harder than Volpe, as shown by Tovar's 11 home runs compared to Volpe's 3, and this advent of a very good, albeit slightly unsustainable power outlet from Tovar has pushed him one spot ahead of Volpe. Riley Greene may be one of the most underrated stars in the league. Greene has looked like a very complete ball player this year. He has an OPS plus of 126, 12 home runs, has stayed healthy, and played a very good left field. While the average has dropped due to a slight rise in the strikeout rate, Greene has continued to show his elite on-base abilities and has continued to drive the ball with some authority. Despite a dip in the batting average of nearly 40 points, his on-base percentage has only dropped a couple of points, and his slugging has actually risen this year. Greene's metrics are a lot like Casas. He's a disciplined hitter, he's one of the best in the league at drawing walks, and when he does hit the ball, he hits the ball hard and he hits it at a good launch angle. However, what separates Greene from Casas is, for one, he's healthy, and two, he's a great base runner and solid defender, making him much more valuable when considering their game as a whole. Corbin Carroll has had an incredibly underwhelming season for the Diamondbacks, looking like one of the biggest disappointments in the league. Right now, he's batting only .213 with an on-base percentage of 300 and slugging only .308. However, Carroll is actually walking more and striking out less than last year. It's just the quality of contact he's producing is just not there, with a lot of pop-outs. Struggles aside, Carroll is still a future superstar in the league. You don't hit 25 home runs, 10 triples, and steal 54 bases to the tune of an .868 OPS in your rookie season just for it to be a fluke. And while the home runs may be an anomaly considering his smaller stature, Carroll still has well above average power, and that combined with his defense, speed/base running abilities, and willingness to use the entire field to give tantalizing potential of what Carroll could be like in the future, even without the immense power we saw in 2023. Paul Skenes may not just be the best pitcher under the age of 25, but frankly the best pitcher in the league. Seriously, he's that good. In his short stint with the Pirates this year, he's lived up to the gigantic hype surrounding him going into the season and following his call-up, and every metric or minor league statistic signals that his dominance could keep on going. His expected ERA and FIP are both in the 2.5s, not far away from the 2.43 ERA he currently has. He's striking out over 12 batters per 9 innings, elite for a starting pitcher, and not walking that many guys. Minimizing walks and maximizing strikeouts is what Skenes does best, and it has thus correlated into great success. Stuff-wise, it has backed up what every strikeout statistic there is. His fastball averages close to 100 miles per hour, and he complements that with what may be the best splitter in the entire game. His only knocks have been that his fastball can sometimes be a bit erratic, putting it in a bad spot at times, and that his slider has been hit pretty hard in the majors this year. However, for Skenes to be dominating at this level, despite being drafted less than a year prior, speaks wonders about his talent, and the sky's the limit for what could be the best pitcher in all of baseball. Julio Rodriguez has been a bit underwhelming this year, to the tune of a 95 OPS plus this season, but he has already cemented himself as a superstar in the league, and has showed last year what can happen after he gets off to a slow start. When on, Rodriguez is the complete talent. He's one of the best center fielders in the game, capable of both ranging into a gap to grabbing a home run, while also having a well above average arm to throw out potential base runners. Rodriguez also has that elite combination of power and speed, that as shown by his 30-30 season in 2023, which saw him finish 4th in MVP voting. And while there are some concerns about Julio's struggles, his strikeout rate is up and he's hitting more ground balls and pop-ups, the quality of contact is still there, and that he's hitting the ball just as hard as he usually does. I have no doubts that he'll turn the season around, and we should see a 2023-esque season from Rodriguez when all is said and done. It really is neck and neck between these next two players. After a ton of back and forth, I eventually decided on Gunnar Henderson to take the spot at number 2. Henderson may just win MVP this year for the American League. He's been that good this season, hitting .273, .363, .598 for a .971 OPS and .179 OPS plus. Also with 21 home runs in only 66 games. Really, since coming into the league, Henderson has hit, never having an OPS plus lower than 125 on a season. Henderson excels at hitting the ball very hard, and while most of his power is to his pull side, he's shown the ability to drive the ball with authority to the opposite field, adding another facet to his game. He strikes out a fair amount, but also takes his walks when he doesn't see a pitch that he can drive. He is extremely athletic as well, leading him to be a plus runner on the base paths and also one of the better defensive shortstops in all of baseball. He really is a complete hitter and player as in general, and fans really shouldn't wonder why he's in MVP conversations. In the end though, I really did have to go with Witt Jr. for the number 1 spot. The deciding factor ultimately was the defense and base running. While Henderson's is very good, Witt Jr. is one of, if not the best defender in the entire league, while also being the fastest runner and one of the best on the base paths. Hitting-wise, Witt Jr. is having a monster season of his own. He's hitting a league-best .326 with a .375 on-base percentage and .563 slugging, with 11 home runs of his own, 19 stolen bases, and a league-best 58 runs scored. There isn't a category in which Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't excel at. He's leading the league in hits, so his bat-to-ball skills are exemplary. He's also slugging .563 and in the 95th percentile in average exit velocity, so he's got the power to boot. Witt Jr.'s ascension from his rookie form really has me wondering if he can even improve more from his elite level production that he's shown here. Not only has Witt Jr. improved in every hitting category imaginable, walking more, hitting the ball harder, and striking out much less, but Witt Jr. has also turned from a defensive liability to a platinum glove contender over the course of just 2 seasons. With this level of exponential production increase, the sky's the limit for Witt, and he already looks Hall of Fame bound. And that massive 7-year, $148 million extension the Royals gave to Witt Jr. this offseason already looks like a bargain. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below new video ideas. Also, comment if you think I missed a player's rankings, or if a player should be higher than another one, or lower, or a player who wasn't even on this list or honorable mentions should be in this list entirely. Let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.